What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Freddy and Friends. And today, a very interesting gentleman, someone I've known for quite a few years now in Los Angeles. He's a restaurateur, hospitality guru, wine importer and distributor, and he's also a sick tenor, Mr. Jordan Ogron.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate
What's up,
it.
brother?
A lot of things are up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where
I
you
love
went?
how you finished with the tenor thing, by the way.
Well, you weren't getting out of here without me talking about that. I am a fucking musician.
That was the early part of my life when I was much
Should we
younger.
start there?
Sure. I mean, if we want to go in the order of the timeline.
No, but you sing like unbelievably well.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you got to see me do it a little bit at my restaurant. But
I've seen it. Yeah. Tell me. So how did take me there.
Yeah, I
Bring
mean, so it was by accident. When I was a kid, my parents divorced when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And just one of the things I used to do with my dad was sing in the car because my dad loves Pavarotti.
Yeah.
And so what turned into a love of classical music kind of became a reality because in high school, I went to high school in Orange County at a school called Sage Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started there, I was like the second or third graduating class. So there was only like 80 kids in the school when I started my first year. And they were trying to build like a little choir.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl who ended up being a mentor for me during that part of my life, she heard me singing in the hallway and pop music.
Yeah.
And she was like, wow, you have a good voice. Have you ever thought about singing classically? And I was like, well, I like the music, but no.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going to her voice teacher and taking a few lessons. And the voice teacher had suggested that I make a tape and send it to a place called Tanglewood, which is kind of like a band camp kind of thing, summer camp for vocalists.
Okay.
And so we submitted it, and I was accepted, and I was also asked to do the opening performance.
Really?
Because I guess like when it starts, like everyone has to sing a solo and everything. So I was asked to do the opening performance, which was pretty cool.
Wow.
And then a few weeks later, so I mean, I've only been singing like this now for maybe 2 months, 2 or 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And I was asked to be the soloist. So my first like real performance was as a soloist with John Williams and the Boston Pops in the Berkshires, which is where Tanglewood is, which is about an hour and a half from Albany, northern Massachusetts. Yeah. And it was in front of almost 50,000 people.
Holy
and
shit.
I was like 16 and shitting myself. And, you know, like that's a crazy first experience. And then, just managed, to have a very successful singing career to kind of start. And then realized that it just wasn't, that lifestyle was just not for me, just thinking ahead, like traveling, not being able to talk for 2 or 3 days before you perform. Cause you need every ounce of your vocal cords before you sing like that. So
it's bringing up my next question because I sing as well, but never. Well, I mean, I had some training, but not to that degree. But kind of always interested in this kind of like, you get the chest voice, right, and then you have this mixed voice, and then you have
head
falsetto,
voice,
and the head voice. Tapping into that register where you can hit those, those A5s and beyond. Yeah. How did you naturally have that, or was that like you had to work on that? Like most people have to work on that and find that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a golf swing, right? It's like you have to have technique, and
it's a technique,
yeah, and every single, it's a great metaphor to be able to understand it because a lot of people don't understand singing or how it works, and like singing from here or singing from here, or in your head voice. Yeah. So just like you need every element of your golf swing, your elbows have to be in the right place. Sure. Everything has to, it's the same thing with singing. So it's like you have to understand and feel your body, and it's got to get used to doing the same thing all the time. So, they always say, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. It's, and it's the truth because you have to train your diaphragm, how all your inner muscles work, where your tongue placement is and all that stuff. So to be able to hit those notes, and my voice teacher hates that I say hit the notes because you're not supposed to hit anything.
You're supposed to hit them.
You're supposed to like glide into it.
Yeah.
But it's the one thing that people don't realize is that it's not guaranteed every time. It's like so there when singers' voices crack or whatever. It's like anything could happen.
Anything could happen. Yeah, it's not a guarantee.
As long as you're following the technique, I mean, 9 times out of 10, it will happen. But you could have a whiff, like it's like it doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Were you practicing like those? Like I know, like a lot of people have to kind of find those tones and you find the feel of it, right, by doing sounds. Yeah. And goofy fucking like cat meows and all kinds of wacky shit. Was that part of your training?
Yeah, I mean, different elements of it. It's much different for men than it is for women. Sure. Number one, and number two, it depends if you have a higher voice or a deeper voice.
Where did you fall in the spectrum? Like kind of like
I was a tenor. Yeah.
Just kind of normal, not too high, not too.
I had a pretty good range in head voice, so there was a time there where I was thinking about being a countertenor, which is technically a man that is trained to sing like a woman. Yeah. If you have to, because like old composers like Bach and stuff like that, like there were actual roles and parts for men that could sing like that. Sure. So not great for the society, what they think about you kind of thing. But I was at least trained to do it. So and it helps with the normal register of like all the notes that Pavarotti was famous for hitting. The C's and the B flats and all that stuff.
That C and that B flat shit is just
yeah. I mean, especially his
with the power behind it is really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Wow. You didn't think you'd be talking about this shit, did you, today?
No.
When was the last time you had this conversation?
Dusting off those cobwebs for sure.
Good,
all that
good.
lingo.
That's what we do here. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's super important. I mean, you can sing your balls off, and I mean, there's also like there's an amount of work that goes into that.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, between just thinking long term, like being able to settle down, not living the artist's life. It's not an easy lifestyle, and I think anyone. Whether you have a nobody opera singer or someone like Pavarotti, it doesn't matter. I mean, they'll tell you the same thing. It's a difficult lifestyle, Yeah. As being an artist of any kind is, It
is a pain in the ass.
So
you got to really no stranger to the situation. Yeah.
It's a lot of traveling. It's a lot of, and the opera world sucks because it's, a lot of like
it's big. It's not that big.
I mean, it's not like a part of the industry where you can go out and party and like sleep in and then you have a concert at Staples Center at 10 o'clock. It's
not happening, dude.
You can't talk, you can't do anything, you can't eat certain things like if you eat tomatoes or chocolate or whatever, acid, all that stuff. Yeah. So it sucks.
it's like next level and like a pop singer or something like.
Yeah, and I had a really good mentor. My voice teacher's husband, actually one of the developers of the NASA supercomputer. Oh, wow. And he told me, he's like, you can't be a businessman and an opera singer. Like you kind of need to pick your lane, because
really,
because that's quite when you try and do two major things and you're only devoting half the time to do both, you're only going to be half as good.
Well, I've always said that you can only go 100% on one thing at a time.
So he kind of convinced me to, make singing a hobby because he already knew it wasn't something that I was, willing to do 100%. Yeah. And so he convinced me, like, just do it when you want to do it. Yeah. Dust the vocal cords off when you want and focus on what you're passionate about. So I made another great decision getting into the restaurant industry. There it is.
Woo! Yeah. Yeah. Smart. Really smart, Jordan.
Yeah, so smart. So
that's what I want to really talk about. Because wasn't too sure when you made that decision, but when I met you, you were deep into that game. Yeah. But immediately saw that you had a knack for hospitality and a knack for curating talent, and obviously you had a successful restaurant. How do you go from singer to restaurant?
Yeah. So while I was at USC, studying voice, also studying business, I lived in a place in downtown. I don't know if it's still there, but it was called Metlofts.
Most likely not.
Yeah, probably not. And below this building was a restaurant that was being built, which I thought was going to be a sushi restaurant. Okay. Because the way that the design looked, it looked like they were going to have a sushi counter. I love sushi, so so I was like kind of like peeking into the window, and this guy comes out and says, "Hey, can I help you?" And I said, "No, I live upstairs. I'm just looking, see what's going on here." And so we got to talking and everything. And this was just before the crash of '08. So
Cool.
Crazy, maybe end of '07, and crazy time. And we just got to talking, and I think I was 20 at the time. And he said, like, we're going to start hiring soon. You live upstairs. Like, seems like it could work out. Like, what can you do?
He just put it on you.
Yeah. And I said, well, I never had thought
sing.
about this.
I could
Yeah,
sing.
never thought. I actually told him that. I was like, I'm a singer. I mean, I never really even thought about working in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really have no interest in being a server or a busser or whatever. And he's like, well, what is your passion? And I was like, well, I do know a lot about wine,
Really?
Yeah, because my dad is a collector. My grandfather was a collector. So I've always kind of been around wine.
Got it.
And and my dad always used to give me like an ounce. I hope it's okay to say. But like when I was younger.
Oh, means.
And so he always used to teach me.
We encourage underage drinking at Freddy and Friends.
So,
sure.
Especially in the music world. But, and so, growing up with wine on the palate kind of consistently, I was fortunate enough to be able to, try some pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
and so I told him, I said, I know a lot about wine. So maybe I can do that. And he said, well, there's a master somm out of Vegas that's writing our wine list. Okay. Maybe you can jump in and help him and learn, and maybe you can be our wine guy. And so that's kind of how it started. So I started as a sommelier from day one.
Nice.
First time I ever put on a suit outside of performing.
Yeah.
And started selling wine and curating ideas and whatever. And so when I was that age, 2021, I actually developed a program that got some pretty cool feedback, and I decided to put it back in my pocket and keep it for myself for maybe one day when I own my own restaurant. So that'll lead to the next topic. But it was called the Name Your Price program. And so the hardest thing to do in the restaurant industry for a server, for anybody, is to sell a glass of dessert wine. It's like no one thinks about it.
Most people don't even know what the fuck dessert wine is.
I know.
I mean, you got to be.
And the stigma about it, even though it shouldn't be a stigma, is that it's always sweet.
Yes.
But there's actually more not sweet dessert wine than,
it doesn't have to be sweet. Yeah.
And so the way that it worked was name a price for the table. Could be $20, $30, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'll bring you the most memorable flight of dessert wine you've ever had. Because we had cool. like over 100 dessert wines, 150 dessert wines.
Oh,
wow. So people loved it, and I was getting almost every table in the restaurant to spend 20, 30, 40, 50
Just
bucks.
adding that $30 more on the check, yeah.
Yeah. And
the
then
owner must have loved you.
By the way, I mean, like we're talking about, usually it's hard to get people to order a $10 glass of port. Sure. Now I'm getting them to spend 20 to 50 bucks on average, for a flight. Yeah. So it was definitely something that worked.
That's cool.
And the owner of that restaurant loved it so much that fast forward through some ons and offs where he helped me he asked me to help him over 10, 12 years. That guy ended up becoming my partner in Tess. And and so I brought that program back, took it to the next level with a little bit of a show and a cart and whatever, and it worked out really well. And so written a few wine lists in my time. But my kind of claim to fame before I opened Tess was I opened Bestia with Ori Minash, great guy, and his wife Genevieve. And that restaurant is still, what it is. It's Bestia means beast. It is a beast of a restaurant.
The beast of LA,
yeah. So had some pretty good stops, mom and pop shop or corporate stuff that I've done, and it all led to me opening my own restaurant here in West Hollywood called Tess, and lasted about 7 years, and the only reason it's not here today is because someone had approached us and asked to buy it. We spent a lot of money on the build out and did it the right way. And in these times, I don't think I need to talk about it, but I think it's pretty obvious. In LA, it's been difficult with the fires and everything else, COVID and so on and so forth. And I think I would have been an idiot, to say, both me and my partner would have been an idiot to say no, not to sell the restaurant. So
sure.
Turned out to be a good thing. So,
and what goes along with owning a restaurant is always not so fucking bright and easy. I know you were highly stressed, and while you did have a really nice thing going, and it was a wonderful. I mean, the food was incredible. The wine program, I don't even have to talk about that. I mean, it was insane.
It was fun, and the wine store attached to it.
The store attached to it was brilliant.
Still going, by the way, online.
Still okay, cool,
Yeah.
good to know. And
Hotelierwines.com.
Absolutely. And then the location was just, the whole thing was right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could see that, like, dealing with, I don't know how many fucking people work there, but probably 70, 80 staff at least.
Yeah.
Having to manage that, and then, dealing with the rules and regulations of, this county.
Yeah.
Drove you nuts.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
just every day just continues to not be business friendly.
Yeah. How did you deal with that? Like, when things were good, it's still in the back of your mind though, right? Like you still.
Yeah. I mean, even when things are good, it can always be better. I mean, that's the thing with LA specifically now, is that unless your restaurant is crazy busy.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the stigmata.
Define crazy busy.
Well, I mean, if you're doing, 2 turns, let's say, if you have 100 seats, which means you'd have 200 people, 200 covers, consider it full.
Yep.
Nowadays, with the price of labor, the real thing that nobody talks about is the insurance costs. What liability insurance, workers' comp, all that stuff is through the roof.
Employees love to see you in LA.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not just that, but it's also like just the insurance companies are so lazy that they just settle everything, whether it's true or false. They just they don't want to go to trial. They want to deal with it. So it's just, here's a check. But at the same time, it's like, then they raise your rates. So it's like, you have no say about anything. It's just, it's crazy. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. But, what people don't understand is they can go into a restaurant and think it's busy, on a Saturday night. But, right now, most restaurants have 1 or 2 busy nights, in the cases of like a place like Bestia, right, where it's like super tiny restaurant compared to most of these restaurants nowadays. It's easier to fill consistently a restaurant of that size, and they probably have a good rent still. So they're able to. It's really a tight calculation.
Oh, for sure.
So
margins are shit.
Yeah, it's great, and that's the thing, is like a restaurant that could be like Tess. At some points, we were so busy, doing almost 3 turns a night.
Yeah.
And those are good days, but those days pay for all the other days that aren't like that, So at the end of the day, the margin is this much. It could be as little as 2%, 3%.
Yeah, no, it's rough. Yeah.
There's not like 20% margins where it's like people.
I also
are raking
feel
in all
like
the dough.
you had probably a higher food cost than average because of the shit you were using, because you were doing a lot of in-house kind of pâtés and different charcuterie stuff, and also your products were way better than most restaurants.
Yeah, we made everything too. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're talking about labor.
But I feel like your food costs were, because the goal here is to keep food costs down.
Yeah.
And by the shittiest possible usable ingredient is what they're serving you in most places. I feel like you didn't do that though.
No, I mean, food cost is much better when you make everything yourself, but then you have high labor costs, right? So give or take. But I mean, we always wanted to make everything ourselves, just because it's hard to trust vendors to do things consistently. Yeah. So when we get to quality check everything every day, it's much easier. So, from our own pastas, our own pâtés, like you said, we tried to do as much as we could.
Yeah.
And then obviously after COVID, we had to adjust a few things here or there, but we were able to put out a pretty consistent product every day. And we never really deviated away from what we were known for doing, like our bucatini with bone marrow. Mm-hmm. You love that.
I loved a lot there, man. Those fucking duck fat fries were, I mean, that's,
good stuff.
That's good stuff. You always had great meat, the bone marrow shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, phenomenal.
So, it's not easy for restaurants nowadays because, unless you have the landlord in bed with you, I think the way that to make it work without getting too deep into it is if the landlord is willing to not do as well when the restaurant's not doing as well, but they also take a part of when the restaurant does well, and
they just weather it with you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a better
Those are the places that you still see open today.
Sure.
Yeah. I think the landlords, especially on Sunset, that aren't willing to bend. That's why you see on Melrose, Sunset, you see all these, Santa Monica even, you see all these empty buildings, and it's because you know, and I get it. Like some landlords have to deal with the banks and like,
Of course.
you know, they can only do so much,
Of course.
you know, but the policies don't help. And unfortunately it's a bunch of people that have never owned a business before that are making these decisions and are not willing to listen to, you know, the constituents. And, you know, it's led to what we're seeing now, you know, and there's a reason why businesses aren't coming here.
Well, it's obvious.
Yeah. I mean, I saw an article the other day that it's like for every business, it was like there's like one business that opens for every like 31 or 32 that close. Wow. Some crazy number.
That's the LA stat?
Yeah.
Damn.
For restaurants.
Restaurants, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. And I think they just like upped minimum wage to like $30 an hour in hotels or some crazy thing.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm not for people being able to make a living wage, but it's like, when do we stop? You know, like where's the balance? You know, like, is it just going to keep going up? I mean, is it going to be 100?
Because the consumer at some point won't pay the prices. I mean, the bucatini,
the
bucatini's $30 a plate by the time you fucking get done with everything. And it's like, all right, how much is pasta really going to be to pay for this?
And, you know, it's like there's different ways to look at it. Like a lot of people hate that these little surcharges, you know, on the check happen.
California invented that.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it's only a way like people can subsidize, you know, the increase in costs. And it's really easy for people to say like, oh, just make the steak $70 instead of 62, you know?
Yeah.
And like Wolfgang Puck is a good friend of mine. And, you know, he was on, over the years on news channels saying, you know, I don't understand these restaurateurs that do the surcharges, just make the stuff more expensive. Yeah. But I mean, with all due respect to Wolfgang, I love the guy. He's a friend of mine, but it's like not every place is Spago, you know, that has a 30-plus year history.
They may look and balk at the menu when they see that the steak went to...
people might be okay spending $90 for a steak at Spago, but not $90 at Tess, you know what I mean? So I'd like, you know, my tactic was make the steak the normal market price of like, you know, $65, $55, whatever it was. And then, you know, you have a 4% surcharge, you know, that if the client asked to take it off, we'd take it off, but it was a way for us to you know, be able to pay the back of the house more money. And
Well, you know what's wild about the whole thing though? Like you walk in the restaurant now, steaks are $300. Let's cut the shit. I mean, I go to a restaurant, steaks are, you know, bone in this and bone in that's like $350. It's fucking Snake River Farms, which I can go buy for $50 online and cook it myself. It's insanity. But that's what it is. The thing I have a problem with is that, and what I really liked about your place, and just what you do in general is like, you know, I've dined at every fucking great restaurant in the world, and I cook very well. So for me to walk into a restaurant and, you know, drop $1,000 or whatever it's going to be, you better be giving me something that I can't do on my own.
Right.
And like
a lot of people feel that way, by the way.
But this is where we're, because everybody has access to everything, right? And you don't need to have much money to do it. Like I said, you could go get that Snake River, you could order that to your house and cook it, right?
Yeah.
For I don't know, whatever. But you don't have to pay $300 for it. So what are you going to give me at the restaurant that I can't make at that I can't order from Regalis and throw on my grill?
Well, yeah. And so here's the thing is I've over the years tried to change that mentality, because nowadays, even for me, because I'm not working in a restaurant anymore, but even when my husband and I go out, we go out for entertainment. Right.
This is my wife talking.
And so you know,
you got to go out for ambiance.
But reality though is if and this is most people, I mean, you eat at home, you cook, you order in, you know, which is the same price as going out, kind of. But
essentially, yeah.
But if you feel like you can make better food or just as good a food, then you're going out for the entertainment factor, right? People watching, seeing the show that people put on. Yeah. And that's why we put on a show at Tess, you know, and that's why a lot of places are developing the concept of having some showy things, whether it's stuff done tableside or bone luges or whatever. You
knew that from out of the gate, of course.
And I've always taught staff that people go out not just to eat, it's to be entertained, to create a memory, right? And so whether it's through a wine pairing, whether it's through a really cool cocktail that comes in a smoke box, like, you know, like we used to do. It's like stupid little gimmicky things that, you know, give you that Instagram moment, you know, whatever. It just creates a memory, right? And so you're right. Nowadays, no matter where you go, for the most part, even sushi, for God's sake, you're paying 3 digits, whether it's $100.
Sushi drives me up a fucking wall. Is 99, like you find a place that serves actually wild fish and let me know, because 99% of what you're getting is garbage, right? And you're paying insane prices for it. Like the only sushi I really like is that's left are like the great omakases in New York and obviously in Tokyo. There's a couple cities that have good ones, but it's another gimmick that's just, you're spending tons of money on subpar shit. Like, you're really going to serve me Atlantic salmon?
Yeah.
Fucking
There's
raw?
The best
Like,
sushi place in my
people
opinion.
are sucking it down.
The best sushi place in LA, in my opinion, that I've been to, there's a lot that I haven't been to, is, and I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it's on Robertson.
It's one on Robertson, yeah.
It's across
It's
from
good. It's
the
solid,
Ivy.
Yeah.
It's all Japanese wild fish.
Yes, well, that's the difference.
But it's pricey.
But that's fine.
But it's delicious.
Happy to pay.
So, yeah.
Happy to pay. What you were saying about the show. So I worked in the restaurant business, obviously, many years ago, 25 years ago, with a great French chef, one of the top restaurants in the country. And they used to say, you're on stage. And I think the French really put that in, like, dessert cart, cheese cart, tableside this, flambe that, thermidor, all that. They really put that into motion. And I think you're spot on with that. Obviously, not many restaurants do that kind of shit anymore, but you're right. You have to go out for ambiance at this point, because if you're really going out to have this incredible, mind-blowing fucking meal and you're going to spend $2,000, you're going to be disappointed.
You know what the proof of the pudding is? Celebrities. Because in my opinion, I'm not going to say what, but like celebrities always go to shitty restaurants.
100%.
It drives me up the wall.
Celebrities are part of the reason why restaurants are shit, because they fucking ruin restaurants. Because once Kim Kardashian goes to a restaurant, then everybody goes there.
Yeah.
And they assume it's good because she went there, but usually it's not. And like, that's great for the restaurant, let them make
for
their
the
money.
marketing, yeah.
But then when I have to go there to check it out because Kim thinks it's good and I'm disappointed, and I'm like, what a fucking waste of time.
Yeah.
But
and we had a really good fair share of celebrities that,
of course,
which was great. But I also would tell my staff, if I ever find out that you've called TMZ or called any of those places, you're fired. And like, it's like the complete opposite. Like a lot of people that are going to watch this are going to be like, wow, that guy's stupid. That's why his restaurant's not open anymore.
No, you have fucking dignity.
Yeah. Dignity and class. And it's like, these people are just regular people,
Correct.
Just because they're
Correct.
on TV.
They don't have no superior palates.
Yeah.
If anything, their palates are absolute dog shit.
And a lot of these restaurant owners, again, I'm not going to say names, but it's like where you see those celebrities dying all the time. It's like they have some kind of connections to get them there. They probably comp their meals. 100%. It's all an inside job, so it's just, it's crazy that like, and then they call TMZ, it's the marketing, like whatever. But then when you go there and you get dropped a $500 bill for two people, you're like, I'm never coming back here because this food sucks, Exactly. Like the experience.
And that's the thing. Restaurants, it's a shame because you have one chance,
Yeah.
When you drop that $500-$600 bill for two people and it sucked, they ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Ever. And they're not bringing anybody. So it's a tough business.
It is.
How did you find, I don't want to talk about wine in a minute, but while we're on this, you do have that knack for hospitality, right? And was that something that you were born with, or is that something you've kind of watered over the
Yeah,
years?
I felt like I learned a little bit about hospitality in the opera world, actually.
Interesting.
Because you kind of always need to be buttoned up. It's a little bit more of a formal atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, my parents divorced when I was younger, so I kind of lived two different lives a little bit, depending on what parent I was with that week.
Sure.
And my mom used to run VIP services for multiple big hotels in Vegas when I was growing up. And my dad was an attorney for some prominent people, real estate attorney. And so I got to kind of experience two different lifestyles a little bit. And then obviously when 9/11 hit, my mom's life changed forever because, Vegas, no one was traveling and all that stuff. So she kind of changed career paths. And her lifestyle changed, obviously, because of it. So I kind of got to live two different lifestyles, see two different lifestyles. And I feel that, I got a lot of experience from that. And with my dad, I got to dine in nice restaurants. And in with my mom, I was dining in kind of like every night places,
high, low, just kind of getting
so I got to experience both worlds and, kind of experience the levels of hospitality on both sides. And it was interesting because when you go to like your Applebee's or Denny's or whatever, you really get to see people for who they are, because when people work in a place like that, it doesn't mean you just get to be lazy, and it's still a business. It's still a restaurant.
You still have to have some pride, and
people are still spending money. You know,
still got to do what you got to do.
So the attitude of some people are like, this is a shitty restaurant, it's a shitty job, I'm gonna treat you like shit. And then there's other people that are really nice and genuine.
You find them rarely, but when you do, it's really impressive because they're not in this great place, but they're treating it with the respect.
And over the years, I can't tell you how many people I've stolen from places like that. Where you got to poach talent when you see it. Yeah, well, it's not only that, but it's like they need to be rewarded and make more money
100%.
For being and I just feel as being good people, they generally care about giving good service. Like that's kind of what I grew up around, and just noticed, took an eye to it, and so from the hospitality side of things, it goes back to the phrase that I'm sure your parents taught you: treat people the way you want to be treated. And at the end of the day, like if you are going to go out, everyone goes to restaurants, right? So if you're going to go out to a restaurant and you expect good service, then you should give good service. It's like
that simple.
When you call somebody to get help from a doctor's office, you need to be nice to them, because if someone calls you for something, you don't want them to be demanding and whatever, it's like, be nice, Yeah. So the best thing ever this is a great story actually, for just a little segue into what I was saying.
Do it.
When there was one night, first year that Tess was open, and this pretentious dipshit comes into the restaurant, who's also late for his reservation, by the way. And, we had a policy that if you're late, over 15 minutes, we'll still seat you, but you might have to wait.
Makes sense.
It is what it is. Yeah. So not everyone can be punished because you're an asshole.
Right.
So this guy walks in, and is one of these guys where it's like the wife drove, so the wife is dealing with valet. So this guy comes in.
He's handling the reservation.
He's by himself. The wife, he leaves the wife outside. Yeah. Tells you what kind of guy this is.
Yeah.
Comes in and says his last name, like, I want to get seated. So my host politely says, you're over 20 minutes late. We'll get you seated. You might just have to wait a few minutes. Like, no problem. Super nice. Yeah. I'm standing kind of like 15 feet away, but watching this, because his demeanor when he walked in, I could just sense it was going to be a problem. Yeah. So he starts pounding the table, like really upset. Like, I want to get seated right now. And she's like, well, is the rest of your party here? Like, like we're going to do our best. Like, he's literally attacking her verbally.
And it's just it's a deuce,
it's
right?
Four.
Oh, it's a four top. Okay.
So like his friends weren't even there either.
Okay, so the friends, they're not even in town yet.
So I love this story. So, she's trying to say something to him, and he just puts his hand up in her face and says, I'm done talking to you. Let me just talk to the manager.
Yeah. And then you happen to be.
We're talking about a minute in, like 2 minutes in.
Yeah,
he's
already
very fast. Yeah. Like, she didn't even get to say 5 words.
Yeah.
And so she gives me the hi sign that we had, which was like this little thing on the shoulder. And so I come over, and I can sense what's going on. I kind of hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
And he turns around and he goes, I want to get seated.
Yeah.
I said, okay, that's great. Yeah. I'm just letting him talk, because, we're always taught you got to listen. You got to be a good listener.
Sure. And
I said, don't worry, we're going to seat you right away. We got to clean the table. We want to seat you at a dirty table. And he's like, what part are you not understanding? I want to sit right now. Like literally, like in my face. Like no matter what I said, this guy was just like, whatever. So I just figured the element of surprise would work here. So I looked at him and I said, what do you do for a living? Because that's so unexpected. Yeah, so it made him change his asshole demeanor for a second. So he was like, I'm a doctor. And I said, perfect example.
Great example.
Perfect example.
I know where you're going.
And I said, when I come to your office, do I get to go straight into a room and pull you into the room and see you right away? I said, no, I have to check in at your front desk. I got to sit in the lobby. I got to probably wait 10 minutes to get a room. And then I got to wait another 10 minutes to see you.
If you're running late, bro,
Yeah. And he looked at me and he goes, where are you going with this? And I said, well.
He doesn't know.
Yeah. And I said, well, I'm not the manager of the restaurant. I'm the owner of the restaurant. And you're in my office.
Yeah, there you go.
And I said, if you can respect my staff and my office and just wait a few minutes to get seated, I would really appreciate it.
Jeez.
Guy turned white.
That's great. Yeah.
Like he had seen a ghost.
Good for you.
And he reaches into his pocket and he takes out $300 or $400 in cash.
Yeah.
Turns around and gives it to the host and apologizes
for being a dick.
For being a dick.
All right, good for him.
And he looked at me and he goes, I have been going out for 30, 40 years and I've always acted like that. He shook my hand and he said, I will never do that again because no one has ever put it into a perspective like that.
That's pretty impressive.
And so, and after he dined, he also left 100% tip on the bill. So his bill was like $700. He left $700.
Amazing.
Like it was
Did
like
he become a regular?
He did, yeah. And it was like a punishment. You know, it was like I
Yeah.
whipped him so hard mentally.
You fucking beat his ass, dude. Damn.
But you know, it's like for all of you watching this podcast, treat everybody nicely.
Treat everybody nicely. It's simple.
Yeah, there's no reason to walk into a restaurant and treat people like shit, or into a doctor's office and treat people like shit.
I agree.
You never know what's going on behind the scenes, and it's like you don't have the right just because you're going to pay, you know, your hard-earned cash.
I agree.
You know,
man.
to treat people that way.
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
And by the way, that's why I love places like nice hotels, like the Four Seasons and the St. Regis and whatever, because they will blacklist your ass if you're rude to their staff. Yeah. Like they're not going to allow you back.
Yeah. No.
I love places that have a spine and like support their staff.
You have to. Yeah.
You know,
when the staff starts getting beat up, it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
You have to.
There's no reason to treat people like that. So I just love that story.
It's a phenomenal story, actually. I had no idea where that was going, and that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot to that, man. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So, and you never know.
And you were quick on your feet with that fucking doctor's office thing.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking, you know, because I've always thought like, and I've told the staff, this is your home. That's as much as it is mine, because we all spent more time in that building than you do in your own house.
Yeah, restaurant business too is very intimate. I mean, people work very closely, long hours. It's a family style kind of unit.
Yeah,
it's different. It's different than other businesses. So, being a great leader, like clearly you were, is very important, and making them feel like they're part of something that's bigger than just hitting the clock and checking in and checking out.
Yeah, I mean,
super important.
And you know, the famous saying of like the guest is always right. I hate that phrase because like from coming at it from like a response standpoint, like you have to have that in the back of your mind.
Well, it doesn't apply to that situation, right? Clearly the guest is not right.
Right.
But you handled it the right way.
Right. But it's in the back of my mind, you know, I'm thinking like, how do I appease him but teach him a lesson at the same time?
Course,
and then,
of course.
You know, I think it worked. But it's like, you know, that's a really tricky thing to teach, you know, like have that in the back of your mind.
I don't know if you can teach that, Jordan.
But don't always believe it's true, you know?
Yeah, I don't know that's one of those skills that's just birthed out of being around things and seeing things and just, it's pretty innate. I don't know if you could teach that. Yeah. People could watch you do that a million times and it'll never make the connection. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
People are meant to be in certain situations because they have these skills. But that's an amazing story, and I've seen people like that. I've dealt with people like that, and
I could write a book on stuff like that.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So,
what an asshole.
Yeah. Restaurant industry, man.
Yeah, man. But we love it. We love it. Let's get into the wine.
Okay.
From knowing you for many years now, and knowing how much you love wine, you've kind of helped me with my palate, I would say, as well, because you just love Spanish wine.
Yeah.
And I was always a guy that was looking for big Italians and, you know, some French stuff. But then when you opened up that world of the Spanish wines to me, because my knowledge of Spanish wine was basically Unico.
Yeah.
And beyond that, I didn't know much.
Right.
You know, and when I started listening to you on that, it was a whole fucking world opened up of wine.
Yeah.
When did you get into, like, why did you get into Spanish wine? When did you get into Spanish wine?
Well, I mean, I think just like anything in life, you know, you could attribute it to anything. Everyone wants the biggest bang for the buck, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to spend the money, you want it to be worth it,
mm-hmm.
you know? And I was introduced to Spanish wine at a young age. You know, my dad loved Vega Sicilia, stuff like that. And, you know, starting at Rivera, which was the restaurant I started my career at, it was an all Spanish wine list.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like the first thing that I was around.
So that's, I didn't know that. Okay.
But, you know, ultimately, even back then in 2007, 2008, I don't think there was barely any Spanish wine in the market at the time.
Nothing. Vega Sicilia, that's it.
Yeah. And, you know, when it came to biggest bang for the buck, I mean, back then, Vega Sicilia was a third of what it costs now.
Of course.
But a wine of that quality compared to the same quality in
Right.
Napa, you're talking about 4 or 5 times as much.
Hundreds of dollars difference.
Oh yeah. So, my kind of advertising for Spanish wine was always like, you can spend $150 on a Napa cab or spend $60, $50 on a Spanish wine that's going to please you just as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the beauty about Spain is that it can be made in a New World way, which is similar to California, or an Old World way, which is similar to Bordeaux, And I've just always had an affinity for Spanish wine because they're just all so different. Like when you drink all these Napa cabs, especially if they're
I don't drink them anymore.
all oaky,
I don't drink them.
They all kind of taste the same.
They
but
fucking suck. I don't drink them anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't fuck with them.
And they're very expensive. I can't say they suck because I have a lot of friends. And
Sorry, you don't have to. I'll fucking tell you.
I drink them, but not that often.
It tastes like fucking sugar and grape juice at this point.
They're definitely made differently. That's for sure. There's regulations in Europe that stop the extra additives of
70 plus additives that they're using in California wines.
Yeah. And so, look, you drink a bottle with your significant other of Napa, you might Napa wine, you might wake up with a headache. In Europe, it doesn't really happen.
No, it doesn't.
That much. So, with Spain, I was just really just fully entranced in how different the wines are in specific regions, and like Rioja, which is northern Spain, is more like Burgundy.
Yep.
Pinot Noir style, even though it's Tempranillo, it's that's like the Burgundy of Spain.
Yeah.
And then you go to an area like Ribera del Duero, which is where Vega Sicilia is. It's about an hour west of Madrid. And the wines are huge. It's a much hotter region, similar to Napa.
Juicier wines,
yeah. So no matter where you are, it's just so different.
That stuff, the Vega stuff drinks like a great Super Tuscan. It's got some fruit, a lot of body, but complex as well. What you said is interesting, though, because I view, knowing a little something about the travel industry, I view Spain as that more bang for your buck in general.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you compare, if you're going to go to Italy or France or whatever, and then you have Spain always has delivered equal or higher quality than those other two places for way better price. Right. So it's the same thing with the wine.
Well, I got to say, from a food perspective, there's just no place better than France. It's crazy.
I'm a resident, so French food is my favorite. It's because French, Italian, it's pretty close.
But just the attention to detail.
It's incredible.
I might get a lot of haters with saying that I prefer the French cuisine more than the Italian cuisine. But
I always have.
We were just there, and every single place we went to in France, whether it was in Burgundy or Champagne or Paris or wherever the hell it was, Lyon, every restaurant was top notch. And we didn't go to crazy Michelin star places. I'm just talking about regular holes in the wall.
I know.
And but in Italy, there's so much inconsistency based on the region of even the seasoning, the food, some of the pastas we had were very bland. I feel like some of the Italian restaurants in LA are much better than anything we had in Italy.
Yeah.
So. Well, scandalous to say, but I'm just also advertising for LA. We have good food here, but
the food's solid. Yeah,
we're spoiled here for sure. Here in New York, more than any state in the U.S. It's tough to beat.
We have great shit here.
Yeah.
So I live between here and Europe, and in New York as well. But the quality shit I can get here, if you really look, is second to none. The French have it down, and the episode I just aired yesterday, we're talking all about this, but I'm happy to do it again because I'm very passionate about it. You're 100% right. They do it better than anyone. Their food's more complex. Italian food's very simple, and you can get a lot of hit or miss. You get a lot of hit or miss in France too, but ultimately what you're saying is true. They're just fucking dialed in, man.
The French are the kings of sauces.
Oh, and sauces are just such another world.
It's what makes everything, and so, it's not really customary in the Italian side of things, to focus on, all these different kinds of sauces.
No, it's pretty much a marinara, and that's about it.
Exactly.
Pesto and stuff like that.
It's mostly olive oil, things incorporated with olive oil, but the French do it very complicated, but the flavor and the complexity of flavors is pretty insane.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I think most people do actually gravitate towards, the flavors of French cuisine.
And they do meat the best.
Yeah.
I mean, they just, the way they do things. But yeah, no, I get it. I mean, but I do think Spain has phenomenal food, especially the coastal stuff. I really love like the Cantabrian stuff, the fish.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you love seafood, I mean, Spain is the country for you.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Basque country.
Even in
crazy.
Ibiza has, if you veer away from, because Ibiza has two parts, right? You don't have to do that whole thing if you don't want to. They have restaurants that'll blow your fucking mind.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some of the best shit. So I always have a great time down there.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, people always say that they love Barcelona more than Madrid, but I love Madrid.
I love Madrid too.
It's my favorite city in the world.
Madrid's cute, man. I love it.
And the food there is so good.
Yeah.
And my favorite place to go there is this little hole in the wall, which is, the nickname of it is called Casa de las Navajas, which is the house of the razor clams. Mm-hmm. And it's in the Rostro, which is like their flea market area.
Yeah.
And man, go there and get razor clams.
I bet.
It's the simplest thing you can eat, but they're so good. And I don't like regular clams. They're kind of weird.
I love razor clams. Yeah.
I love razor clams. Yeah. And the way they do is just top notch. So good. And like the best part about traveling in Europe, no matter where you go, I mean, not so much France, but everywhere else, like street food is so good. It's the way.
France, you don't really get street food. You don't really get street food in France.
Not really. I mean, the only really thing you buy on the street is the bread, which is also nothing
people
to
still
complain
just
about.
have their bicycle and the baguette hanging out of the basket every morning. I wake up there and I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, but Spain, I mean, it's all street food.
Yeah.
In
Italy too, you can get a lot of street food.
Yeah.
Especially like places like Palermo and stuff like that.
So, incorporating wine into that, if the food is so simple in Spain, the wine for what it is price-wise, it could be looked at as a bang for the buck.
Sure.
There's some great producers out there. So.
Yeah, I've bought quite a few things over the years from you, but I would agree with you. And I try. So right now I'm drinking mostly biodynamic shit though, because I'm like really, really appalled by the amount of chemicals and stuff that they use to flavor and enhance wine, especially, and pretty much don't drink any of the U.S. stuff anymore unless it's bio and I know that it's not 80 ingredients. But I find great stuff in France, Italy, and Spain, all on the natural side that just fucking hit.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that's good for you to know is the biodynamic and organic stuff, especially in the U.S., you don't really see it notated a lot.
Yeah.
Because
it's not as,
I don't know why, but the U.S. makes it so difficult.
I know.
And very pricey.
Yeah. So people don't go through the steps, but they could still be organic.
Yeah. I mean, like you have to have a special permit, special license.
That's a lot of shit. Yeah.
Whatever. It's like bring in organic wine.
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
Why?
Right.
It's just a way for the government to make more money or whatever. It's all,
of course,
it's all crap. But it's better when you go to look, at the wineries' websites. Like they'll tell you
what they're doing.
That's organic, biodynamic.
Yeah.
So a lot of wineries and importers now are getting creative with how to tell people on the back label that it's organic. But the second you put that symbol or whatever,
you gotta pay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I know.
It's astronomical.
It's ridiculous. I mean, even if you go to a farmer's market in Cali, it's like, well, we don't pay for the certification, but we're organic because we're not going to do that. And I respect that.
Yeah.
It's just more bullshit for the government to take.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of wine, tell me about the new venture.
Yeah. So I've been working on it for a while now, but started a import distribution company, mostly of wine. We have a few spirits, but I was able to take two pretty iconic companies that have been here in LA for 20 to 40 years. And both of the guys wanted to retire. So it was perfect timing.
Lucky you, man.
And to save a very long story, I was able to, I say convince, but in a positive way, convince them to kind of turn over their companies to me. Because, wine distribution companies aren't really companies unless you have wineries to work with, and so if they were going to wind it down and retire, they would have just told all the wineries to go find other distributors, and then there's really nothing left in the company. So I was able to convince them to kind of turn it over to me, and these are books I've worked with throughout my career as a buyer, buying the wines from these portfolios.
Yeah.
And so very close, they're almost like family to me, these guys, and was able to get them to turn over their books to me. And so I started a new company under a new name, merging the two together, called Legacy Wine Group.
Fitting.
Continuing the legacies of two icons in the industry. And called another friend of mine who's not retiring, and merged the two books, his book and our book, together. Not physically, so when you flip it over, it's his. One company's on one side, Specialty Cellars, and the other side is Legacy Wine Group, and utilizing his company for the admin stuff, and obviously bringing both companies together, merging the teams, has given us a really good coverage, I guess, across the state with people selling wine, and it's been a successful launch so far. So
nice.
We have combined about 80 wineries or so, mostly from Europe, some domestic.
Okay.
And we focus on really only working with wineries that are family oriented. In some cases, husband and wife teams.
That's cool.
Father and son teams. Just
Nice.
depends. But really high quality, good value wines. So
Amazing.
a lot of collector stuff too, obviously.
And then your collection, is that kind of part of that, or that's the separate?
No, the
online
Boutellier
business?
thing is
Boutellier
separate.
is separate.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So,
And then this is kind of taking you around, making you look at different wineries, traveling.
yeah,
a
man.
bit.
I mean, what are we in July now? I mean, I feel like I've spent half my time so far this year in Europe.
Yeah,
I
sure.
got to go to these wine conferences.
Oh, that
and-
sucks.
It's like-
That's too
Let
bad.
me tell you,
Oh.
everyone's reaction is your reaction.
Yeah.
Try it. You come with me to Paris. Let's do it. Let's do it on camera, and you can see.
It's hard
We'll
work.
see if he lasts the whole time.
No, I
But
know.
like when
I
you
know.
go from 9 to 5, even spitting all this wine,
I know.
man, all you want to do is pass the fuck out when you get home. It's like being at the gym for 8 hours,
it's
going
crazy.
full fledged the whole time. And people think it's like an amazing thing where you just go around and meet people, taste wine, drink wine the whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
It is anything.
I got invited
but
to
that.
a Vin Italy once, but I never did it. But
It is anything but that.
yeah, no, I
Seriously,
get
we should do an episode where you
it. I'd love to do one on the road.
It's not easy. And
spitting wine all day.
spitting wine all day, talking. You have to like give them feedback. It's like it's tiring.
I know the game.
At the end, you'll never want to go back again. Trust me. It's like I dread every year. The only good part is that I get to go to a city I love. Whether
Yeah.
it's France or wherever.
Yeah.
Paris. But it's not easy, and everyone thinks it's like.
Well, enough. It's work, man. It's work. It's work. It's
It
still
is.
work. Yeah.
Your
I
teeth
get
are
it.
like black at the end
Yeah,
of
your
it.
fucking
You got to
whole
brush
mouth,
your
yeah.
teeth 5 times. It's man, and all the tannin and everything, like it wears you out, really.
Damn.
When you go to the gym the next day, you're sore as hell, and you're like, "Don't touch me."
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the next day you can't even think about wine. Your teeth are sensitive.
And it's like 3 days of it straight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And there's probably close to 50,000 people at these conferences
Of
that are
course.
directly involved with the wineries
Yeah.
and importers or
Yeah.
whatever. If you were to put hidden cameras to follow these people,
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's not one of these people that after the conference every night they go out for dinner.
Yeah.
None of them drink wine.
Dude,
Not
having
one person.
No chance.
Yeah, not
No
one
chance.
person. They probably are drinking beer or
Yeah.
spirits or
Yeah.
whatever else.
Water, I would hope.
Yeah, water, but anything but wine, because
Jeez.
like it's brutal.
I could see that.
It's brutal. So,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You see yourself staying in LA?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We might move to Orange County. Just it's where my family is. They've been.
Yeah.
When we decide to have kids and start the next phase of our life, it's probably better to do that in a place that's not as crazy as LA.
Probably. It's not a bad idea.
So
Yeah.
I mean, because we've been living the condo lifestyle for a long time. We want to be able to have a house and a yard, and
Sure.
and realistically, the prices in LA
Oh,
and
the hills are right up there, man. You could get up in there.
yeah, I'd rather not with the whole fire thing and
Yeah, that was a little scary.
yeah. I prefer to be in a place with fresher air, and
Understood.
I grew up there, so it's just easier.
That's fine.
Beach is close and
You do have no. I love it. I love it
traffic's
there.
not crazy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice there, and it's close enough here. If you got to shoot in, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
We'll probably keep our place here just to
I would
be able to go back and forth.
That'd be a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
That would be like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, we're working on expanding already the distribution to other states.
Sure. Next question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're building a lot in kind of central Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, Georgia, like all that kind of that area now.
Yeah.
We have distribution partners in Nevada and on the East Coast.
Okay.
Connecticut, New York, Jersey, Virginia, DC, Florida.
Awesome.
So we're branching out as much as we can.
Perfect.
Because we're distributors here, but we're importers as well. So we're bringing this wine in. A lot of the wineries, a big handful of the wineries that we deal with, they haven't been in the U.S. before. Mm-hmm. So, we're trying to import them for all of the U.S., find distribution partners in different states that like the wine, like the story, and then their team sells it. So it's kind of a part of what we're doing.
It's awesome
as well.
Best of luck with that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's a fun, it's different.
It's different.
I'm not used to having my nights free.
There's nobody banging on the desk asking to be seated, right?
Exactly.
Your nights are free, so that's cool.
Yeah, nights are free. I'm able to go.
Now you get to go out for ambiance instead of food.
I know. And it's amazing to see it from that perspective, like going out to different restaurants, seeing what restaurants are doing.
Yeah, I bet.
Because for me, having the experience I have, I get to analyze, if there's good management, I get to people watch and see who's being a dick, if I could step in and help and,
you're sniffing out everything when you're at a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's kind of goes with the territory.
No, it's fun. And I've never really had the time to take a deep breath and just enjoy going out to a restaurant, Well, even owning a restaurant, I was just not, I see it from a different perspective now.
You can't turn it off.
But now I'm able just to enjoy not being in that world anymore. And, I miss parts of it, but and once in a while, if I get the itch to do it, just like singing, I used to sing here or there at the restaurant. We actually just did a pop-up for tests last weekend.
I thought I saw something come through. I was kind of confused.
But... So Raph flew in town, my partner and chef, and we did a one-night thing where it was a set menu, brought the bucatini back and stuff, and we did it. My favorite restaurant in LA, which is Marino.
You did it with Marino, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. I was like, what is this? That's cool.
Sal's a great guy.
Yeah.
They've been there 42 years. There's still...
we went. We had a great time, yeah.
And there's still so many people that don't know about that restaurant.
Nobody knows about that restaurant.
That guy's food is just crazy
it's
good.
A great spot. It's a great spot.
So and they're from Naples, so it's an Italian duo. His brother is the front of the house guy, Mario.
That's a cool place.
They do it the right way.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it there.
And the guy, he's what I call a psycho chef, because he wakes up every morning 5 a.m. and goes to whatever farmer's market is that day.
Yeah.
So he puts the produce in his car.
Yeah.
It's like
love
that. There's no one that does that.
Nobody does that anymore.
I mean, maybe there's chefs out there that will go on Wednesday to Santa Monica.
Small restaurants, maybe in Europe,
but every day, to go to the farmer's market, get the fresh produce,
and they're fucking scattered, because I go twice a week. I can't make it every day.
I mean, that guy, I love him, but you got to be cuckoo to do that. I mean, he puts the produce in his car, brings it himself. Yeah. I mean, most chefs order from a produce company or whatever. Of
course.
But I love the way he does it. He does it the right way. He's a hard worker. All of his hard work shows up on the plate.
Yes, it does.
And the people that go there, the regulars, they keep going back.
Yeah.
And
they appreciate that. That's what they're going for.
Go to Marino.
Go to Marino, yeah. That's great.
I mean, it's places like that. 42 years, we got to keep those places open.
100%.
So good.
100%, man.
And that comes from the heart. They didn't pay me to say that. So, it's, I mean, there's these LA historical restaurants, that we got to keep alive,
I agree, man.
Because if LA loses that on top of everything else they're losing, it's, I think the culture, what LA has been for the last 30 years is gonna get lost. And it's at a time when, LA is going to be put on the world stage for the next 3 years. 26 is the World Cup, 27 is the Super Bowl, 28 is the Olympics.
Yeah. How about that?
So people got to wake up, and mostly the people making decisions, and we got to get businesses to come back here. We got to get people to be excited about this city again.
It's insanity.
To bring businesses here, to want to invest here. So we've been in this horrific depression, and LA and San Francisco.
Yeah.
And
two of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Yeah, and I people will say why. Like, why is San Diego and Orange County so much busier? Like, why are the restaurants there doing so much better? And I think there's 3 tiers, right? It starts with the federal government.
Yep.
And we're veering off into something, but it's the federal government, and then you have the state government, and then you have the local government. And it's like, when you have the triple whammy, that's
then you can do well.
That's when, but I'm just saying, when you have the triple whammy all on one side, that's when places like LA and San Francisco, where we are currently, in that severe depression.
That's what happened. Yeah, of course.
And California has always been heavily one side, but when you talk about cities that have been split, where state is one side and city is another, like San Diego or Orange County, they find a balance of working together, which we've lost in this country. Mm-hmm. When they work together, you have great success. Like places like Orange County, those restaurants are crazy busy.
Of course.
And you're talking about people that have $1 million homes.
People are happier down there anyway.
Yeah. So it might be just as expensive to go out, but it's better for the businesses because they're getting better insurance deals or whatever that the local government can control to help businesses.
Exactly.
Which is not happening in LA and San Francisco, which is why you see all these for lease signs and what looks like just a severe depression. So I hope that we can find a little bit of balance locally.
It's going to have to happen soon if it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it just everyone I'm talking to, some of our best clients, people with money, people that can open businesses here if they wanted to, they're all leaving. Yeah. They're all going to other places.
Yeah. No, it's not
Vegas, Phoenix, Florida, Miami, whatever.
Sure.
Everyone's leaving as fast as humanly possible. And it's sad to see,
It does suck.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to find out soon enough if it turns around.
It's so bad that I've even thought about, gearing up for a run at something, so down the road, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think that might be a good idea, man.
Yeah. We'll see.
I think they need people like you on that.
It's the first time I've ever said it publicly, so there you go.
All right. Well, we're fucking launching.
We'll see.
We're launching
no promises
today.
It's a brutal world, politics and the atmosphere of it all, and there's a lot of politicians that want to do good for people on both sides,
sure.
And
this is a fucking scam here. This leadership is absolute dog shit.
Yeah, and whether they have good intentions or not, there's not enough people on either side that are willing to listen, and there's just so much jump to conclusions and anger and violence, and it's a rough world. So something I'd really have to think through, talk to my family about, see if it's a reality. But I feel like I could do a good job.
It's going to be like anything else in your life, how it just kind of presented and evolved, and if it's right, it's right. And you'll be there.
Yeah.
But this needs to get on track. This city, this state.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful place. So sad. It's really sad.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. It really bothers me. But until we get you in office, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, we just need to get to a place of balance, you know, and whether it's balance, common sense, whatever you want to say. It's like, I'll just give you one example.
By all means.
One of the things that severely hurts businesses, but doesn't really help employees unless they're bad people, is something that Jerry Brown had originally. And when Schwarzenegger was in office, he took it away. And then I believe Brown was after that, and then he brought it back, or Newsom brought it back. Somebody brought it back. But it's the ability for employees, which are mostly terminated employees, people that got fired or quit or whatever. It gives the employees the ability to file post-termination workers' comp claims.
Yeah.
And the reason that's such a big thing is because if an employee wants to retaliate, right, just like give the middle finger to a business, maybe they got fired for drinking on the job, let's just say, right? I think every business person on earth would fire an employee for drinking on the job, right? Puts the company at risk. Something could happen. It's just usually there's a zero tolerance policy in every company. It doesn't have to be a restaurant, but every company that you can't like do drugs at work or drink at work or whatever. So essentially an employee could get fired for drinking on the job. And as a middle finger, like I'm going to get you back.
Come file PTSD bullshit.
Yeah. It doesn't matter
7
what
months
it is.
later.
They could say, "Oh, I hurt my head 7 months ago, and now I get headaches every so often." It could be the dumbest shit. "Oh, I hurt my elbow. Oh, my aching ass." Like whatever, you know.
This has plagued the city.
So they file a post-termination claim, and like I said earlier, like the insurance companies, they'll deny it, and then the counsel, whatever, for the employee will file another claim, and then they'll end up just settling. And whether it's a few $1,000s or not, like just to make them go away. Yeah. Then that raises the rates for the business owner. And so it's just something like that as an example where the general public has no idea that that's going on. Yeah. Right?
They don't know that exists.
And
you wouldn't know unless you're a business owner.
One of my employees actually told me, Latino employee told me after COVID, right after COVID, that Latino radio stations have actually been advertising.
Sure.
Law offices have been advertising on Latino radio stations, telling people, just file a claim. We'll get you money because it makes the law offices money. So ultimately, if the governor, doesn't matter who it is, were to change that one little thing that doesn't affect the employee's life, right? It takes away the ability. By the way, they can file a workers' comp claim if they really get hurt at work. It can be proven. Whatever. I would never deny a workers' comp claim that deserves to be a workers' comp claim. I'm talking about the fraud, right? And so, and like the BS of like the insurance companies being lazy, not wanting to do the due diligence and just settle because it only affects the business owner, which is why people are not coming here. It's stupid policies like that, which is why business people are not coming here.
So here, explain it.
So essentially, if they make the change, that's all I'm saying is that it doesn't need to be publicized. Nobody would know.
Nobody knows about it anyway.
And it would change the business mentality, just something like that. Yeah. Where it doesn't need to be political. People don't need to go protest about it. There's nothing that it affects, negatively for the employee.
That's been
but it does everything for the business.
Businesses here for years. Nobody wants to hire anyone here because of, even if you have that, which is insane, and it's just like a known fact that like you're getting sued by your employees here. Yeah. Like for something. The thing that blows my mind is like who concocts this shit and for why? Right? What is the reasoning? Like who does that benefit at the end of the day? Why do you come up with this shit?
But it's people that have never owned a business.
To protect scammers. Yeah. It's insane.
But it's people that have never owned a business that are making these decisions.
Well, of course. Because people that run fucking governments are not business people.
Yeah. Anybody that's owned their own business, you, me, anybody like with a decent head on their shoulders would never allow something like that.
Of course not.
And at the end of the day, by the way, there's a lot of shitty business owners out there, people that take advantage of their employees, people that, but that's why you can't have policies one for all. You know what I mean? So absolutely. At the end of the day, if there are shitty business owners that abuse their employees or whatever it may be, like those people deserve to, get sued or whatever. Like there should still be obviously protections for employees where it makes sense. Right. But something so stupid like that doesn't affect the employee. It's mostly out of retaliation. And by the way, who would file a workers' comp claim after they don't work there? Like if you got really, got injured,
someone that knows that they have this right.
Yeah. But if you really got injured and really weren't able to work, which is when workers' comp is supposed to be used, right? Or it's a life-changing industry, like your arm gets caught in a meat grinder and you've lost your friggin' arm.
That's what probably happened during the term.
That's what workers' comp is for, And so like the fact that there's all this waste, fraud, and abuse in workers' comp in California, it's just draining. And the only people making money from it are the insurance companies and the lawyers.
Which must have some kind of kickback somewhere.
And when I say the insurance companies, it's because the mod keeps going up, right? So your premium goes up, and it's just crazy. It's like this vicious circle. So somebody's got to stop it, where it's like something so simple as that literally can't be rebutted on the other side. Like I would love someone to tell me, why keep that? Why?
There's no fight for that.
There's none. I mean,
there's no rebuttal on that.
I invite Gavin Newsom to come on your podcast and explain why something like that needs to be there. It's like something.
Gavin, we're waiting for you.
It's just something like that where what is the rebuttal? Make it make sense. And don't veer off and say a different answer that has nothing to do with what I'm asking. Come up with an exact rebuttal of what I just said. Doesn't make sense.
Can't be done.
Can't
be done.
Yeah.
Well.
But something like that is why I'd consider running, because it's just all the idiotic things that, in my opinion, wouldn't have a rebuttal.
Jordan Ogron, 2026, folks.
Yeah, maybe 2030. 26 is too soon.
All right.
So we'll see.
I got a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
Tell me about a habit that you've developed that's kind of changed or revolutionized your life over the years. Something you've implemented.
That's a good one. Well, I mean, recently, just because I'm not working 15 hours a day in a restaurant anymore, I've been able to routinely go to the gym, which is great.
Beautiful.
I've lost like 40 pounds in the last year.
Yeah.
Which is nice. So I like that.
That's amazing.
And eating better.
Yeah.
Not drinking as much. I mean, being in the wine industry is kind of hard, but
you're spitting.
Yeah. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, when you're on your feet working 15 hours a day in a restaurant, ultimately all you really have to do to wind down is have a glass of wine or tequila or something. So, I went from having 2 or 3 glasses a night, not because I'm an alcoholic, but just because it was really all there's left to do at the end of the day at 2:30 in the morning, to like maybe having 2 or 3 glasses a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so like
big difference.
Changing that lifestyle has been different. And, you don't realize how much weight is alcohol weight, until you get rid of it, you know?
Sure.
And so, being able to work out, cooking at home. I love cooking at home. I don't do it often, but, I'm starting to more.
Yeah.
So just that habit specifically of like, staying healthy, eating healthy,
cool.
Has been life-changing for me because I really haven't been able to do that.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And at Tess, we had very healthy, clean food.
Yeah.
But, when I didn't want that, I was really eating fast food or what's open at 2 a.m,
Nothing. Exactly.
So, you're subjected to kind of whatever's available.
I get it.
And so not living that life anymore has been great.
Cool, man.
So
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
What's a non-negotiable for you every day?
Non-negotiable.
Every day.
Being disrespected or disrespecting others.
Wow.
I think, I'm 38 years old now, so I'm not old, but I don't have time for people that are just not genuine good people anymore.
Sure.
Like, why bring that into your life?
Yeah.
I appreciate people that are strong-willed, like, good business people.
Yeah.
It's okay to be like my way or the highway too. I'm fine with that. But as long as it's delivered in a way that's kind,
Yeah.
and there's no reason to be a dick.
I agree.
And so I have no tolerance for people that are just rude. Why invite that into your life?
You shouldn't.
I think that whatever my husband and I strongly believe that whatever you put out into the atmosphere comes back to you tenfold, And so ultimately, like, we like to be positive. We like to have good vibes, and anyone that I come across on a daily basis that, just isn't that, I just move on.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty direct too. I feel like,
yeah.
I'm not feeling this. See ya.
Yeah.
I'm not rude about it, but it's just like, I'm not going to give this person any time or whatever. I've actually gotten up in the middle of dinner before.
Yeah.
Like just from whether it's a work dinner or we're out with friends, with my husband, people I don't know that well. And I just,
like what was going on.
Left. I'm like, I'm just not going to waste my energy. Like,
I respect that.
Come up with a kind excuse.
Why sit through
not
some bullshit?
Feeling well, or,
You don't have to sit through bullshit.
No.
Who are you pleasing?
Yeah. And it's just, I've just chosen that, from a mental standpoint, I think it's to stay mentally consistent and mentally strong.
Yeah.
I think that, you have to have some kind of standard for what you can accept in your own
100%.
life,
100%.
Yeah.
Beautiful answer.
Love that question, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's a good answer. How's your relationship with failure? What's that like?
Not acceptable.
Failure's not acceptable.
No, because, that's also, I think that also is why, work ethic is so important, because if you're actually working hard, then you hopefully won't fail. But it's inevitable. You're going to fail at things in life. And as long as you learn from those failures and you can use that failure to make the next thing more successful, then it's fine to fail. But you have to keep your mentality, or at least I do, that failure is not an option. Doesn't mean it's not going to come.
Yeah.
But everything happens for a reason. Things sometimes you can't control.
Sure.
Like COVID as an example. Like a lot of people's businesses failed because of COVID. So like sometimes it's things you can't control. But if you can pivot, if you're quick on your feet and you're not stuck in your ways and you're not against change.
Yeah.
When we were closed for tests, I don't know if you remember, but
you opened up that little market.
Yeah, we had a little coffee shop.
Of course, I remember
that we ended up closing
it up
after.
Daily.
Yeah,
There's nowhere else to go.
But I mean, immediately I took all the food from the walk-in and created a grocery store overnight with
we were flipping out. It was
with
brilliant.
Raph, my partner, and turned it into a grocery store. And that's pivoting, that's change.
That was super smart.
And so as long as any business person can be quick on their feet, listen, what's needed, and for me, it was just listening to the noise at that time. It was like people saying, the grocery stores are out of everything. I can't get in the grocery store. I can't do this. I can't get toilet paper. Yeah. I mean, my husband and I were married by Sharon Stone. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I'm saying this is because the thing that brought me and Sharon Stone together, for God's sake, was toilet paper. We got close. I used to deliver stuff to her house. Like she was a frequenter of the restaurant. Yeah. But as a thank you, and just shows you how good of a person she is, like as a thank you to me, she found out that we weren't married, and like she offered as like a thank you for everything I did for her and her kids during COVID. Yeah. She offered to marry us, which is pretty cool. And I mean, who's going to say no to that? But so
that's awesome, man.
And so like I said, it's like trying to always do good, be a good person. And I think it comes back to you tenfold. I think that's a pretty good example of, of coming back tenfold.
I love it. I love it.
The woman of like her time, 90s, 80s, whatever, like that's pretty cool.
That's super cool.
So, so I think that as long as you have the mentality of failure is not an option, and it's going to come regardless, but just learning from it, I think, is important.
Great answer. Last one for you. Can you recommend a book that every guy should read?
A book that every guy should read. Well, I'm not much of a reader.
Another non-reader?
Yeah, so I'll start.
Come on, man.
I'll start there. However, you talking about books, you should get these guys to
Gasoline, yeah,
for advertising. Start writing your checks. And Forte de Marmi. I mean, a great restaurant in Miami. Where's the advertising dollars?
Forte de Marmi billboard over here.
Man, if I had a test book, I would have forced you to put it there. But
you could read. You could start reading if you want.
Yeah,
you got plenty of books.
By the way, a good idea. There's a lot of local LA restaurants. By the way, like Bestia, for example, they have a book. So if you ever get Ori, we should put his book there. But
you can't leave here without giving me one book.
Well, then I'll keep it to my world, actually, because it's actually a book I tell everybody to read, right? Perfect. So everybody says, I don't know a lot about wine, right?
Yeah.
And so people that want to learn about wine, whether you want to be in the wine industry or you just want to be able to converse about wine or even spin a glass or whatever the hell it is.
Windows.
Huh?
Windows?
Exactly. Windows on the World by Kevin Zraly. Great book. It's a book that talks to you like you're
it's a story.
But it's a book. The way that I took it is that it turns you, it teaches you like a third grader, where it's like wine is so complicated. It can be very geeky, scientific, like whatever. So people are usually turned off by wine, or they feel like it's too big for them. But like that book does a good job of bringing it down to a normal level where people can easily understand it. And I still think, I think that the digital version is still out there.
Okay.
So if you actually buy it on your iPad, then there's videos like where he teaches you how to
swirl,
aerate the glass or aerate the wine and swirl and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that let's keep it within my industry. I think that's a good book.
I think it's a great book.
Yeah,
I highly recommend that as well. That was a great talk, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
It's a real pleasure. Thanks for coming on. It's good to see you. It's been a minute. If you want to tell everybody where they can find you or what you're up to, please do.
Yeah. We're still building our website, which will be legacywinegroup.com. My boutellierwines.com is still going. My handle is at jogron2. And so we do actually do one thing we didn't talk about was I do a lot of wine dinners around the city.
Yes.
And I use the wine dinners to teach people about wine, let them try the wine that I'm importing, obviously.
Yep.
But most importantly, I do it to support restaurants.
Sure.
And so it's a really good, fun experience. They usually land in between $95 and $150.
Not
And
bad.
it's a good night out. And
we know the wine and food are going to be great. So.
oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And so if you follow me on Instagram, I usually post a lot about the dinners that I'll be doing, and I'm going to be hosting a lot of wine events around the city. And
Cool.
we're actually going to do a pool party in August.
Nice.
A really cool pool party with a Vinho Verde producer out of Portugal.
Amazing.
Just 2 wines, but have a DJ. You and Jackie should come.
We should.
And it'll be a blast. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Thank you, brother. It was great to see you.
Appreciate you.
I learned a lot today, that's for sure.
Awesome.
Got a little bit deeper, and let's talk soon, man. Jordan Ogron, everyone. Thank you, bro.
Thanks, man.